Coach.
After the Michigan State game, you were really critical about the week of preparation leading up to that one. I guess have you seen an improvement this week, and I guess what things were you really emphasizing this week to improve?
The thing about it, that hadn't been us all year, and that was the disappointing thing, is I thought we really had prepared well all season long, and I don't know if it was the Creighton game. It was similar to last year a little bit, where we played on the road. We had a great win against Kansas State, maybe our best road win of the season, and then we bounced back in a very similar game that we played after the Creighton game. So we play last year North Dakota, and we're getting it handed to us at halftime. So the challenge after the Creighton win was to bounce back with great effort, and we did that, I thought, against South Dakota, and then North Florida team that I think you all know how on edge we were going into that one, a team that had knocked off 2 high majors. So then we get a week, and it may have been as simple as exhaling, taking your foot off the gas, and then having a day off, and then coming back in, and the energy just wasn't the same as what it had been for the entire season with this team. So that really last week was hopefully the outlier for this season, for that game. And, they've bounced back and responded the way that we hoped they would have. And, we beat them up pretty good. We had to, after what happened to us. We just got completely outworked and outmanned, and the physicality of the game in this league. Michigan State obviously is as good as anybody in the country, but we're going to see that every night. We're going to see it on Friday with Indiana. They're big, they're strong, they're playing really good basketball right now, they're healthy, and it's a team that will pose a lot of the same problems that Michigan State did. And if we don't respond to a run, to adversity, the same thing is going to happen that happened on Saturday afternoon for the entire season. That's how this league is. It's how it goes. So, I've been pleased with how they've responded, but we'll see how we step up to the challenge on Friday night.
How do you approach that coming off of a week like that? How do you approach that moving forward to get them away from that and still what you want?
Well, you guys know I get a weekly report or layout from a scientific standpoint of how the load should look. And again, we've got the best sports science program in the country. If people all around the world talk to our sports scientists, they're a hell of a lot smarter than I am. So when they give me the recommendation on what the load should be for the week, similar to last year, I can't remember what game it was. Wisconsin. Thanks, Wilson.
You're welcome.
So remember, I crumpled up the paper and I threw it in the garbage, and I essentially did the same thing this year. We needed to get after it, and we have. And we still have room to grow. We still have a lot of work to do. And, a lot of new faces that we're still trying to figure some things out. We didn't handle it well the other day. We have handled adversity pretty well, I think, all season. Even the St. Mary's loss, we battled back. We continued to fight. But we had 80% of the fans in the building. When you don't have that, you got to be more mentally tough. You have to be more physically tough. And, this is the other road test we had was Creighton, and I thought we were phenomenal. We controlled pace. We controlled tempo. And we were the tougher team on the floor that day. But, we have to learn from wins, losses. We're going to do that every game. We're going to have a cleanup, and we got to respond. And, I still believe in this team a lot. There's some things we still obviously need to get a lot better at on both ends of the floor. But, hopefully we step up on Friday and give great effort.
Do you like how some of the peer leaders responded since the game?
Yeah, I do. And again, we've been pretty solid every week except for the last one for whatever reason. So, again, you learn from it, and we may look back at that as hopefully a turning point in our season, because you hit that point of disappointment, embarrassment, and how you going to respond. And our guys, again, we're old. We should have really good leadership on this team. Juwan has continued to be the guy with his voice that is setting the tone for us every day. But again, none of this means anything unless we respond on Friday night. And when Indiana goes on their run, are we going to fold like we did on Saturday, or are we going to respond? There was a key point in that game at Michigan State. It was a loose ball. We had 2 chances to get it. We missed a block out. We didn't get on the floor. They kick it out. We short close to Akins, and he hits a 3 on us. Now, instead of 10, being able to go down and have a possession to cut it to 7 or 8, they make it 13. And then if you see the score, man, it was like 13, 16, 19, 20. They just steamrolled us, and we did not respond well. So, we watched every one of those clips, and we had a very tough film session. We've had tough practices. And, the challenge now is, are we going to respond when that thing goes up in the air at 7 o'clock on Friday night?
What are some of the specifics of how this Indiana team can stress you?
Well, they're playing the best that they have, the 4 wins that they have in a row now, and I thought they were phenomenal against Minnesota the other night on both ends of the floor. And they finished off that tournament in the Bahamas with a win over Providence, where I thought they were really good. So they're coming off, I think, their best performance of the season, and the physicality, the toughness. There's going to be a lot of the same things that stressed us going into the Michigan State game, starting in transition with their bigs. They do as good a job as anybody of throwing the ball over the top to Renew and to Ballo in transition. They're phenomenal at that. They're shooting the ball well. Carlisle being healthy is huge for them. I thought he was great in their game the other night. He adds a on-ball pressure element to that team, and I know that's how Woody likes to play. So there's a lot of stressors. I think Galloway is playing really good, and he's shooting the ball well right now. We know how tough he is when he gets downhill to his right hand. So, you just have to go out there and limit him and hopefully follow the game plan. It's going to take a 40-minute effort and hopefully give ourselves a chance.
It seemed like Michigan State was making Connor a priority, taking him away both on and off the ball. Did you try to maybe figure out some things to get him more involved and not let teams take him away the way that Michigan State did?
Yeah, and I thought we had a couple opportunities in transition to find him, and we did not do as good a job as we had in the previous 3 games. And he's got to be the guy that we're looking for when we're coming down in transition to get him a flip 3, or if his guy is off of him, we have to make sure that we're looking for him. So I thought we did miss some opportunities, but Michigan State, yes, give them credit for doing a great job. Not just Connor. I mean, they took us out of everything, and we just weren't tough enough. We weren't physical enough on that end as well. And we got to be better. Our ball's got to move better. Players have to move better. We have to screen better. Believe me, it wasn't just defensively. We were not very good on the offensive end.
Sorry.
You're good.
How similar, different is Ballo's skill set compared to other 7-footers you've seen this year?
Yeah, it just his length. First of all, defensively, we have to be very selective at the rim. He's averaging over 2 blocks a game, and that fuels them on the other end. So we have to be very selective when we're driving the ball into the paint, play off 2 feet, play under control. But offensively, he carves out space as well as anybody that certainly I've seen in this league and across the country. Very good offensive rebounder. He has got such unbelievable length. I think he's a good passer in their high-low game with he and Renew. So, yeah, those 2 guys, they pose a lot of problems. And then they'll play Goody a lot at the 4 as well. And that brings a completely different element of a guy that's, arguably their best shooter on the team, and a guy that's made a lot of threes over the course of his career in this league.
Does Burke have his feet under him a little bit better this week?
He's getting there. He's still not quite 100%. And, I think you could see that a little bit in the game the other day. But, he's getting more comfortable out there. It's hard when you have basically a week off and then have to get back in and go right into the, one of the most physical games that we're going to play all season. And then when it got out of hand, we just, we didn't put him back in there just to try to, keep him as healthy as possible. But he's had a solid week. He had a good day today. And, hopefully he can go out there. We had a minute limit on him the other day. Didn't get to that, obviously, because the game got out of hand. But, we'll see. We'll probably have him continue on the minute restriction for a little bit longer because we've got another week after this one. It's kind of a weird time in our schedule. You play 2 games in 2 weeks, and then you play 3 games in 4 days. So, this is a big one for us, obviously, Friday, and then, get a little time to recover.
Fred, I was curious, how much do you know about or have heard about Raleigh's high school football career and his background there, and how much, or any elements from that do you see translate on the court in his game, whether it be leadership, aggressiveness?
Yeah, he talks about himself all the time, so we know. No, I'm just kidding. I know Raleigh is. He was a great football player, and I think that toughness factor that you have from playing the position that he played carries over the court with, not only with toughness but with leadership, with having to organize and making sure guys are in the right spots. So he's just, you look over the course of his career, and that's one of the things that I loved when we brought him here on his visit. All he talked about was winning. And when you talk to people that have been around him and people at previous schools that he's played at, that's all they talk about is he's just a flat-out winner. does whatever it takes. You know, he's not a volume guy. When he shoots the ball, he's most likely going to be the first Nebraska basketball player to score 1,000 points and have 500 rebounds, 500 assists. So that tells you everything you need to know about Raleigh. And yeah, football, it helps. You know, I was a football player 100 years ago, and I do think it helped. I think it's kind of sad today that kids have to specialize at such an early age and they don't play multiple sports like they used to, because I really do think it helps with overall athleticism and toughness and leadership. So it's it's tough if a kid gets penalized now if they don't specialize at a young age, and I just don't think that's right.
You guys were undefeated at home in Big Ten play last year. Have you talked to just the team about the importance of home court, especially once you get into Big Ten play?
Yeah, and you talk about how hard it is to win on the road in this league, and obviously we experienced that on Saturday, and we have played, just so you know, we played all 6 years I've been here, we've started on the road, which that's also not right. You know, it'd be great to start at home and, hopefully get a little momentum, going into the rest of the schedule. So, I didn't realize that until after the game, and I did let the schedulers know about that. So anyway, that's besides the point, Robin. Yes, it's important. You have to come out. I know there's 2 great events in Lincoln on Friday night, and, couldn't be more excited about how the volleyball team is playing, and for John, and, how well that team is playing right now as they pursue their 6th national championship. So I know there's 2 great events in town on Friday. I hope we get a great crowd, and I think we will. And I know volleyball is going to be sold out. So, it's an exciting time. For us, starting home, we get 10 of these opportunities. And, again, hopefully go out and give our fans something to cheer about.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
There's that a little bit.